Hey everybody, Bob here. I was thinking about something I could do today that might be of interest to folks. And I remembered the time before I retired. I did 30 years in the post office. And I have to tell you, I was not suited. I was not suited for that job at all. It's highly repetitious. Most of the work is very repetitious. There's never any end to it. You sort mail, you do these things, and then you go home, you come back the next day, and there's another pile, and you sort it. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like just digging holes every day. There are some jobs that are okay if you're a carrier and you get outside. Some of those jobs can be okay. You get to meet some interesting people on your routes, make friends with folks. But the carriers are always under a tremendous amount of pressure because delivering mail door to door is very expensive, and they're always under pressure to get as much mail delivered as they can, as fast as they can. So it looks like a relaxing job, but it's not. The supervisors are watching them, making sure they're hustling, carrying as much mail as they possibly can. But anyhow, you have to be somebody who's really content with structure and repetition and doesn't get bored doing the same thing day after day, month after month, year after year. And unfortunately, that was not me. Through a series of life events, I did wind up staying for 30 years. I had some time where I quit, took all my retirement money out, and tried to start a business that failed. So I went back to the post office, and of course, I didn't have as much money in my retirement fund as I should have when I finally reached retirement age. But that was okay. I was done. 30 years and I was gone. So I had spent a lot of time, and I suppose a lot of people do, when they start to get close to retirement age. They start really thinking about, what am I going to do? What am I going to do when I retire? I've been doing this job for 30 years. It's all I know, really. What am I going to do? And so you daydream and you daydream and you daydream about what life is going to be like. And you just can't wait for it. You just can't wait. I can't wait to not have to get up in the morning. I can't wait to not have a boss telling me how much work I need to get done now. And, just on and on and on. I can relax. I can do what I want to do. If I want to go for a walk on the beach, I go for a walk on the beach. Just on and on and on. You're free. I know all of you who have retired have had those kinds of thoughts. But what I didn't plan on, and this really took me by surprise, was I realized about a year out, maybe not even that long, 6 months out maybe from retirement, I started getting anxious. I really started getting scared, to be honest with you. The thing that I had lived for years and years and years was right around the corner, and I was scared to death. I was thinking, what am I going to do? Am I going to just sit on the sofa all day, every day? Am I going to be even more bored to tears? If I'm not working at the post office, then who am I? What kind of an identity do I have? Am I going to like this? What's it going to be like spending so much more time with my wife than I am now? God knows I love her, but you can only spend but so much time with the same person day in and day out, week after week. And so, was there going to be enough money? Because I had spent my retirement previously, I wasn't certain I was going to be able to. As a matter of fact, I knew, to be honest with you, I knew there wasn't enough in a retirement for me to just fully, completely retire. I was going to have to go find part-time work. And luckily, I had prepared for that. So when I retired, I did get part-time job, and that filled that little gap, filled the gap nicely. So I didn't have to worry too much about that. But I don't know how to explain it exactly. It's kind of weird. And now this has been a while. This was a few years back. I didn't expect to be scared to retire, to be honest with you. I didn't understand that. And what I finally came to realize was when I was a young man, I always looked, if you tried something and it didn't work out, no big deal. You learn from it and you go on and you try something new. And that's fine when you're young. But when you get older, there's not but so many startovers that you can do. You can only afford to go broke X number of times before you gotta really find something steady and secure, or get real lucky. And so I started thinking about that. I said, man, your days are not, you're not going to die yet. You got plenty of years left, but you don't have a whole lot of start over time left, not that kind of time. So that made me anxious. For some reason. I didn't know for sure what I was going to do long term. I knew I had a part-time job, but I didn't know what I was going to do with myself. I had a couple of things that I enjoyed. I loved college football, and the school where I went had a football team. So every fall, I knew I'd be involved with that. I always bought season tickets and went to the games. And but other than that, there wasn't a whole lot. I had a garden in the back. I like to play in my garden, grow some vegetables. That was fun in the spring and summer and early fall. So I had a couple of things there to kind of look forward to, but I wasn't sure that was going to be enough. And so despite all that, you take the plunge anyhow. You go ahead and do it. You've been talking about doing it for 30 years. You better do it. So I did. And I have to say, I've been very pleasantly surprised. I've started, when I was still working, I started a couple of small businesses that ran for 5 or 10 years each, and never really developed into anything that I could really count on. But it was fun and I learned a lot. And so when I finally retired, I started thinking about, well, what can I do now? What's something new I can try? Because I liked variety. Long story short, that's what has brought me here ultimately. I thought to myself, these YouTube channels are pretty interesting. I learn a lot from them and they're free. So you could start a YouTube channel and just go with it and see what happens. There's no rush. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. You just do what's fun and learn. Teach yourself how to use all of the apps and software and all the things that go into making a video, and teach yourself and learn how to use editing equipment, which I'm still just in the very beginning stages of learning how to edit. If you've looked at my videos, you've noticed that I don't do any editing. The last one I did was the first one where I tried a couple of different camera angles to film the video. But it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. So I guess I'm wondering about the rest of you guys. What have you done with yourself since retirement? Were you scared? Were you anxious about retiring? Did they have to take you out kicking and screaming, or were you ready to go? Everybody's story's a little bit different. I always like to hear other people talk about their life experiences because there's so much to learn from them. So I'm going to end this video now, and the next video I do, I've already decided. I'm going to tell a little story about what it was like for me when I was maybe 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, in that age group, we used to have a lot of fun playing and using our imaginations. And I'm going to tell you about some of the crazy stuff we used to do. So I hope you'll look forward to that video coming out in the next couple of days. If you like, I would certainly appreciate it if you would subscribe and hit the like button. The YouTube algorithm pays a lot of attention to that, and it tells them that people like your stuff, so maybe we should show it to other people. And that's kind of basically how you grow your channel, is what I'm learning. So, okay, guys, y'all have a nice day. And if you do have a topic or a question or anything like that, put it in the comments. I read them, read every one of the comments, and I'll respond to it for sure. Okay, guys, take care. Talk to you later.